മനുഷ്യന്മാർ രണ്ട് കാലിൽ നടക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങിയത് മുതൽ നിർത്താതെ ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒന്നേ തമ്പ് തല്ലലും കൊല്ലലും.
Hi, Roshan. Welcome
Hi,
today.
thank you.
So, are you excited about the release of Kuruthi?
Definitely.
Tell us about your role in Kuruthi, since it's been kept like a well-kept secret.
I think all characters in Kuruthi deserve to be kept as a secret because it's it's like the movie itself unfolds through all of these characters together in one space. So the least you know about them, actually, the most amount of fun you will probably have. But what I can tell you about Ibrahim, the character that I play, is he is a regular village guy. He's still recovering from a particularly traumatic past tragedy, which snatched the best parts of his life from him. So he's working on finding the will to keep living, and sort of just about like living on for the sake of his family.
Sounds like an interesting character. So,
Yeah, that's the setup, and then like what happens in the film is the story. It's not about Ibrahim moping about his past.
okay, fair enough. So, how was it working with Prithviraj Sukumaran in Kuruthi? You have earlier also acted with him.
Yeah. We've done Kude together, and I left the sets of Kude wishing that there was maybe just a little more to do, with Prithvi and Parvati especially. Most of my scenes were with Nazria, and it was such a lovely, fun film that I just wanted to keep doing it, and I ran out of character. But anyway, I really enjoyed that film, and I came out of it wanting to do more with all three of them. And with Prithvi, I've watched a lot of his films. He's constantly been inspiring me with the choices that he makes, and the projects that he decides to back, the experiments that he goes for. So he's always excited me as an actor, and this was just great. It was because of how Kuruthi is structured. There's like everything I have to do, pretty much I have to do with almost all of these actors in the cast. So that way it was great to get to work with Prithvi that much. And it was also personally for me lovely to watch him every day through the shoot, the amount of energy that he comes in with each day, whether we are doing his scenes or not, and he leaves with pretty much that amount of energy as well. And for the longest time that didn't make any sense for me until I realized one day that this is what he feeds on. This, like, the making of the film, or that particular process, is what energizes him. And that's just lovely to watch, because it's like you can't tire him out until he gets back to his room after shoot. After that he might be tired, but as long as he's working, you can't tire him out. And that's great. And it's not just about his body that I'm speaking. His mind also doesn't really tire.
About his passion that shows up on sets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You also penned a note about the same thing on your Instagram, talking about matching his energy and how he has inspired you. So how is it on sets? Like, what is Prithvi's approach? You spoke about it, that, he's passionate and he brings that to the sets. So tell us more about that. How was it on sets? Were there rehearsals, improvisations in your scenes with him in Kuruthi?
Yeah, see, because of the way the script flows, it's like almost a straight line of events. We're pretty much, after, once the plot kicks off, we're pretty much following these people real time. So there is a lot of space for us to figure out how a certain scene is going to play in the space realistically, rather than just go with how it was initially planned or written. Because everything from the geography of the house that or the space that we're shooting in to the tone at which the scene right before that ended, everything influences the scene to follow directly, right? Because it is immediately, the action is just continuous. So that way, I think once we got past the first say week and a half, or maybe 10 days to 2 weeks of shoot, when the setup part of and we were shooting pretty much chronologically, it was possible to do that with this film. So once the setup part of it was done and this particular chain of events had sort of unfolded, from then on it was a lot of fun. It, like, you know, it's like reading one of those books that you can't put down. So we'd wrap shoot one night and come back the next morning and pick up from exactly the same place again, because that's where the next scene begins, where the last one has ended. So everything that you discover beyond what was written in the script or what was initially planned, or everything that's different from what you expected, you get to directly carry on into the next scene.
Okay. So with Kuruthi, you've said that you're working with some of the best actors of Malayalam cinema. So
Yeah.
were you excited or nervous during the first day of shoot?
I was excited on the first day of shoot. I was extremely nervous until the first day of shoot. And when Prithvi initially pitched the movie to me, and he said this is the cast that he roughly has in mind, and to me everyone sounded a perfect fit for their character except me. So I took a day. I said, I'll think about this and get back to you. And Prithvi said, oh, really? If I were you, I would do it. I said, yeah, I know I want to do it, but I just want to figure if I can. So, yeah.
So how did you come about it? So why did you say yes?
Because I realized that maybe it's a good thing that I was scared. Because a couple of the most satisfying experiences that I've had working on projects, and I'm not just talking about film here, have come to me when I was too scared going in. When I've gone in thinking, oh, I'm really going to mess this up. There's no way I can pull this off. So like it is more satisfying, more rewarding sometimes.
So this is your second film that you've been shooting for during the pandemic?
Kuruthi was technically the third that I shot during the pandemic. The first was See You Soon. Then we started another Malayalam film called Kothu with Asif Ali, and we directed by Sibi Malayelsa. But unfortunately, we haven't been able to finish that film. It requires slightly more complicated setup and bigger spaces.
So how is the experience different from normal, like when you were shooting normally?
I think with Kuruthi, what we were trying to achieve was to get as close to what we had initially perceived as normal as possible. So the script also sort of let us do that, because it happens in a very isolated space. This house where most of the story happens, and then even when they eventually move to other spaces, all of these are spaces which are quite isolated and very distant from, say, like civilization or whatever. So it sort of gave us it's not like we use the terms bio bubble or anything, but it sort of gave us the option to isolate ourselves somewhere. And once we knew that all of us were safe, and if we kept our interactions with the outside world to an absolute minimum, we could just sort of shoot like there was no pandemic.
So it worked in your favor, for Kuruthi at least.
Yeah, fortunately. And it's not like you're not running risks and all. We're still trying to be as safe as possible in, like masks and sanitization, and all of those safety norms were in place, and we're trying to, like I said, minimize exposure. And it was also honestly just like a lot of luck, I guess.
So you've had 3 back-to-back OTT releases in just 2020. Are you happy with the kind of films that are being offered to you? Because they're not typical chocolate boy kind of roles. They're more unconventional and out of the box. At least some of them.
Yeah, I'm more than the films. I'm very happy with the kind of people who have been reaching out to me. People who wanted to uh, get me in on a project that they were working on. People I've gotten to collaborate with. So that always comes first for me. Almost always, at least. So yeah, that way I've been a lot of people who I've been really inspired by. I've been lucky enough to get to work with, and that's the trend that I hope continues. I'm okay if the kind of films that I'm getting right now changes, or like the characters change, but as long as I'm still working with people who excite me and inspire me, I'm good.
So it's not this, like, it does matter how the script is, but people are more what you find.
Yeah, everything obviously does matter, but I feel like if I have, like, I constantly have a group of people in mind who I want to work with, and I know that for sure. So the moment they call me for something that they're doing, it's almost a yes in my head already. And that's been the case when, say, Gitu Mohandas called me, or when like Mahesh Narayanan called me, when Prithvi called me, for that matter. And then it's extremely like heartening, and I feel very lucky when everything else also falls in place. That the script is also exciting, and the character is also great to play, and all that feels like an added win.
So you're also going to be part of Alia Bhatt's Darlings. So are you excited about that as well?
Yeah, we're shooting that film currently, and it is definitely a very exciting project, and I'm having a lot of fun watching these actors work, Alia, Shefali, and Vijay Verma especially. And it's also a completely different experience for me from everything I've done before. So I'm glad I'm getting to experience that.
Okay. So also, have you completed the shoot for the Tamil film Cobra, or are you still shooting for it?
There's a little bit of work left. Again, like, the pandemic brings in a lot of complications with it. So we will wrap soon, hopefully.
Yeah, I guess that would be it. Is there anything you would want to add to the interview? Or
No, Kuruthi comes out on the 11th. Please watch it, everyone. Give the movie a shot. I really hope that you guys enjoy it.
okay. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks.
Thank you.